No ditch hearings today, right?
Oh my gosh.
We're okay, no?
This is your first meeting without a ditch hearing, I think.
For a while.
A ditch hearing. You know where they phone in?
Oh, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm looking at,
Better have the travel there. for that.
Yeah, right? All right, I'll call this meeting to order. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please join me for some intentions. Mark Hayes, family man, civic leader, friend. He passed entirely too soon. Councilman Hayes was instrumental in the construction of the Justice Center, and he was a leading figure in regional planning and significantly contributed to its success. We want to join his family today in their sorrow. So let's have a moment of silence and remember a great community leader, Mark Hayes. Roll call.
Commissioner Thomas?
Here.
Commissioner Kirchner? Commissioner Ferguson?
here,
I'll make a motion to approve the digital audio video recording of the previous board session from Thursday, September 5th, 2019.
second,
Roll call.
Commissioner Ferguson?
yes,
Commissioner Kirchner? Commissioner Thomas?
Yes. Any adjustments? Guess we've got insurance coming in at 10:15, so we'll move them up when they get here. And then we have some appointments today on Suicide Prevention Week. And so Mr. Handro from Mental Health and Recovery Services Board is here, and we have a couple other speakers.
Well, thank you for having me. We did compile some data that maybe I can pass to the public as well, or if they want to get some on the way out. Suicide data that actually pertains, some specific to Seneca County. Some compares us with other surrounding counties in the state of Ohio. I will leave the extra ones maybe here, so I can pass them out. What we see in our area, I know suicide sometimes is not the hot topic that maybe we all talk about or we see in the media or social media, but it's truly impacting our community. Suicide rate has increased approximately 25% in the last 10-11 years in Ohio. We see, unfortunately, younger and younger individuals attempting or completing suicide. It increased 80% among children 14 and younger in the last 11 years. The most recent data that we can confirm for Seneca County was 2017, and we had 10 completed suicides in 2017. We are actually projecting an increase for 2018. We have our local numbers that we believe are accurate, but the state of Ohio haven't confirmed 2018 data. We're projecting 11 suicide completions in 2018, and we're hoping for a decrease this year. I think confirmed as of today we have 6 or 7 for 2019. But again, this is our local data between the mental health board, first responders, and the health department. They will compile. Usually the state of Ohio, it's approximately 2.5 to 3 years behind for them to confirm it. Now I want to make everybody aware when it comes to suicide data, sometimes we're not saying this is not accurate, but when you have, for example, a drug overdose, sometimes it's very hard to determine was that a drug overdose, was that intentional with, let's say, prescription medication, or was just that an accidental overdose. So I think sometimes the numbers can be moved to an overdose instead of a suicide. I also have another piece of information that is really important that we put together, really how to deal with suicide, some basic information, how to get help, what are the suicide warning signs, suicide risk factors, and how individuals can prevent suicide. We believe it's preventable, maybe not every single life, but I think we can save some lives by educating people how to approach somebody if they believe they're suicidal, how to talk to them, where they can get help. So I'd like to pass that information out as well. Now, one new thing that we did approximately 2 years ago, brought to Seneca County, and actually every county now has it in the state of Ohio. We have partnered with Crisis Text Line to make sure we promote and implement Crisis Text Line in Seneca County. So right now in Seneca County, you have a 24/7 Crisis Text Line where individuals can text if they feel they maybe are suicidal or if they feel down, I would say. What we have confirmed, it's really hard to pinpoint exact data because you might have Seneca County individuals who maybe travel or they go to school, I said this before, to Ohio State University. They might be residents here, but they go to school, so sometimes with the cell phone towers, you don't know exactly where they pinpoint. But through the questions the professional asked, they try to compile some data. But I have confirmed the last year 142 texts from Seneca County.
Wow.
The Crisis Text Line. Out of those 142, 77% of them were females. I do have the 42% of them, between both male and females, identify themselves as LGBTQ. And the higher range of individuals sending the text were 14 to 17 years old. And the time of day that the text line was the most used was 8 p.m. And Thursday was the highest day they used in Seneca County. So it's just some interesting data that we were able to pull out. I do want to thank the commissioners for having me speak and try to raise awareness about suicide. I think it's a really important topic. As a board, we'll try to put more focus on this. We do have a suicide prevention coalition in Seneca County that we try to get more and more active. And for the last few years, they have planned Maxi Smiles, a community walk and community run in the past. And I have some flyers about that. That is coming up October 5th at Hedges Boyer Park. Another really neat thing that we are doing this year, partnering with the Tiffin Seneca Public Library. We are bringing Kevin Hines as a main speaker. That's October 10th, Thursday in the evening. I think everybody should come and hear him and listen to him. Sometimes if we can bring these quality speakers to our community, I think it's really important to get people and hear him. I'm not gonna kind of steal his story, but he's one of, and I believe the only one that survived a jump from the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco. I think they're confirmed thousands and thousands and thousands of completed suicides, and he's the only one survivor. So he will share his story, he will share what he's been through. So I encourage the community to come to that event. I have these flyers here I will leave, but prior to the event and actually even after the event, the library puts a lot of community discussions regarding mental health, kind of get the community warm up for the event and afterwards. So this is where I am. Again, I think the drug overdose is sometimes this kind of stealing a big piece of the mental health, but we truly need to put a little bit more focus on the mental health. As a board, we recognize that, and we'll try to invest more money and work with our local leaders and state and federal leaders to make sure we have more and adequate funding to support mental health, including prevention and education.
The text hotline number is?
741-741. This is confidential. Yeah, it is confidential. It is 24/7, and even if somebody wants to get itemized text bills, this will not appear on the bill. Crisis Text Line was able to get an agreement with the major cell phone carriers in the nation, so this will not appear even if you yourself want to see it on an itemized bill. It will not come up.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any questions? We have another special guest, our friend Jason Herbert here, and he wanted to share a little bit of his personal experience around this topic.
Okay, so I'm Jason Herbert, born and raised here in Tiffin. Went to college in Columbus. Met a guy, Brian Cross, freshman year. Ended up being my best friend. April 20th of 2006. A friend of mine from Columbus called me in the morning and said, "Hey, don't know how to tell you this. I just heard Cross died." It's kind of crazy, but all right. So, not believing it, I called his cell phone, and I can verbatim remember the conversation. His father picked up the phone and it's inappropriate what I said here, but, said, Danny, why the F are you picking up Brian's phone right now? And I knew what happened. Didn't know how it happened, didn't know it was a suicide at that point in time. You know, Brian and I were inseparable for 10 years, formative years of my young adulthood. He was gonna be the best man at my wedding, named my oldest son after him. Just ripping open a 14-year-old scab right here. It's tough. It's sad. But I think more than anything, I'm angry at times at him, you know, for being, in my opinion, pretty selfish, even though I got the letter he wrote to me personally about, you know, the weight of the world on his shoulders and all that. It still doesn't make sense 18 years or 14 years later. So that's kind of my story. The guy had everything going for him, just got accepted to law school, worked at a great company that was gonna pay for it. There were zero signs, even looking back, that this was gonna happen. So, anything we can do to stop one of these would be great, in my opinion. That's all I got.
Thank you, Jason. Thanks for sharing. It's so important that people share, you know, let people know they'll be missed. You know, you didn't get to meet your kids, didn't get to be at your wedding, and you wanted him there. So a little bit more about getting involved. Kathy, do you want to talk about Max's Miles a little bit?
Sure. Max was our son. He was 19 when he left. He was an amazing kid. He was smart, he was funny, but he had a lot of anxiety. So 3 years ago, he left July 30th, 16. And in his note to us, he asked us to do suicide prevention. And so we approached Mircha and the Mental Health Board and said, what could we do together to do some awareness and some prevention? And they have been wonderful, and so many wonderful volunteers. And so, as Mircha said, there's a suicide coalition. And if anybody's interested, they could contact the Mental Health Board. But Max's Miles is October 5th at Hedges Boyer Park, and there'll be kids fun run, community labs. We have live music and food and crafts and games and all sorts of stuff. But providers there who are going to provide information for anyone who knows somebody struggling or struggling themselves. And we're just trying to bring awareness and prevention. And I'm so grateful to the Mental Health Board and to the volunteers, and the library has been a wonderful partner as well this year. So we'd love to see you at the event. It's a free event. And the library has lots of free events coming up too, so I really encourage you to participate in any of those things and just learn about this. So, thanks.
Thank you for what you're doing.
Thanks.
There are handouts up here, so if anybody that's here can grab them on the way out. If we need copies, we can make them ready.
I have plenty. I'll put them here at the corner.
Put them up here. Yep, thank you. Yep.
So from our standpoint, we have a proclamation declaring that it's Suicide Awareness Prevention Month, Suicide Prevention Awareness Month, September 2019. And in support of that effort, for the next 2 nights, I think we should darken the cupola to signify a light going out and bring awareness to it that way. Maybe somebody will ask, why is the lights not on in the cupola or in the courthouse? And maybe somebody will ask, and it'll get some information out. So if you're okay with that,
Yes.
so we are proclaiming it National Suicide Prevention Awareness Month.
What date will that happen?
Tonight, tomorrow night.
Tonight, okay. Tonight, tomorrow, okay.
So thank you very much. You guys can go ahead and go. The rest of the agenda is pretty insignificant as compared to this stuff. So
Jason?
Can I leave this here?
Absolutely, yep.
I'm so glad to hear that. Thank you very much.
Your last name again?
Herbert for coming.
How are you?
We'll promote this event. All right,
It was a pleasure.
Ron Burns.
Mr. Herbert? Always.
I agree, this is not for.
Not to you, but to the rest of the employees of the county, it will be.
It's this is a very important topic. Just, you fail, really. We were talking suicide prevention.
I get it.
So,
It's more important than this.
yeah,
For
so
sure.
this is one of the most important things we act on as commissioners, so I'd like to go ahead and put Mr. Burns on. Put
I'll start quick.
She's in charge.
put the county administrator on so we can start.
Lori Huth and Kylie and I went down Friday to get our renewal for Sebco, and a very interesting meeting. Initially, the rates came back at a 3% increase, and what Sebco did with our claims and with our rebates, and Sebco put in $3 million of our pool money, got our rates down to 2.8. The largest increase of any of the counties was 10%. And luckily this year, there was 17 counties that we were either 0% or lower, which we were one of them. So about half the counties got a 0% or lower. So I think Sebco does great for us. We had a good year for claims, so it helped out. So
So the insurance committee met, and what is their recommendation at this point?
well, I'll let Ron explain some of the
Okay.
renewal first, and then we'll tell you what the recommendation is.
So
Just
thank
dragging
you
it
to
out.
all of our employees for taking care of their health, managing their claims.
That's it.
It's in their control, so.
So, just for the record, my name's Ron Burns. I'm Executive Vice President with the First Insurance Group, who's the consultant for the county, and meet on a fairly regular basis with the committee. So a couple things I do want to point out, and as Stacy had mentioned, last year, I'll take a step back here. This year, the loss ratio for Seneca County, just so you guys know, was about 93%. Last year, it was 107%. Last year, we got a 0% increase, which is beyond me, but you got it. It had to do with the reserves coming out of the consortium. So the consortium did well this year. They were at about 97%. So when Stacy said you got an overall negative 2.8% increase, which was obviously a benefit to the county. Just a couple footnotes. When I went back, I've taken a look at what the consortium has done and the county for the last 7 years. Our average has been 2.3% increase, which is phenomenal. So to Stacy's point, I think the arrangement and the relationship with Sebco has been very good. It's been very good to the county, because I can tell you, I don't have many clients that can say over 7 years they've averaged 2.3%. Okay, so that's that's a plus. That we are in our second year, we're moving into our second year of a 3-year commitment. Last year we renewed, we took it to the market, came back, made the recommendation. Sebco came back with a 0% increase. So starting in January 1st, 2020, we'll be moving into that second year of that commitment. We are going to eliminate the PPO, as most of you know. We communicated that last year to the employees. So again, that will be communicated, but it's been out. We've done multiple communications to the employees so they know and understand what's going on there. The fund balance right now, as of the end of August, was about $408,000. If you remember last year, we had monies left in that account, and we did some premium holidays. Stacy will talk about that later, which is good. So I think most of you, did they have handouts?
Oh, no, I didn't print that out.
Oh, you did?
No.
I have some.
Oh,
Do you?
Perfect. Kim's my backup. This is Kim Bond.
She's the backup to your backup.
Yeah.
We know a lot of people make you look good, Ron.
That's great.
Why are you laughing? You don't even know me.
She's here more than you are.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm sorry.
Shirley is
What's your
our,
name?
Shirley Smith.
Hey, Shirley. I'm Ron.
she's our moral conscience.
They need all the help they can get.
Me or them? Oh, yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. Oh, is this on record?
We have a,
So I always slip because the media is always somewhere around. Maybe you? Please don't print that. Just make me look good.
I'll try.
Okay, so the handouts, and we have extras here, so the handouts, I'm gonna kind of go through this quickly, because I know you guys are busy, but I still want to get a couple points in here. So what we did here, you're gonna see two columns, 2019, and to the right of that's 2020. We eliminated, like I said, the PPO network. So what we're looking at is just the high deductible health plan that we're going to move to. So for an apples to apples comparison, we wanted to make sure that you seen what was going on there. So you can see the 2019, 2020 rates, and in yellow to the right, you'll see that minus 2.8%. So those rates up top, commissioners, on both sides, you can see last year for a single, we were paying $490, the ZEPCO rate was $494. This year it's gone to $481. Okay? So those, you can follow those down, and that's where you get your minus 2.8% increase. Below that, you're going to see the next blue line, which says renewal rates plus admin fees and expenses. Those are, there's four things in there. One is the auditor's fee, because the auditor's office has the charge back to the fund for Tasha's time. Our fees are in there, our consulting services. There are some wellness expenses, and there's some reserves built in there. So if you remember, we go back, and for full transparency, the fund account had monies left in it years ago. We let that build up. We used that to help offset a year where we had a bad increase. So back, I think 4 years ago, we had almost a 13% increase. The employees only seen like a 6% increase because we took monies out of the fund to help pay for it. So, yeah, so we have those reserves in there. So when we add all those together, you can see what your rate is, your total single, and was like $539, and now it's gonna be $523. So obviously, an overall savings to the employees. When we take a look at those yellow boxes down there, you're gonna see the box to the left under current rates, that's what the employees are currently paying right now. 50, 110, 91, 146. You with me? To the right of that, once we do the calculation minus the 2.8%, it drops the single rate like $2. The employee spouse rate $3, the employee children rate $2, and the family $4. Not a big differential change, only, I mean, for the family. So if you drop down to the following box, you'll see last year you guys approved those rates, $50, $111 for employee spouse, and employee child $92 and $148. What the committee is recommending to the commissioners this year is to leave the rates the same. There'll be a few of those dollars gone back into the health insurance account, which won't hurt anything, but it doesn't, again, what we're trying to do is stabilize everything here for the employees. So the request or the recommendation for the committee was to have no increase at all this year, just leave the rates as they are currently. Because at the 2.8% negative, it just doesn't impact the rates, but $2 a pay for a single, it's not big dollars. So that's in there. Just a couple other notes. On the January 1st, the HSA deductible will change by IRS guidelines from $2,700 to $2,800 for a single, and from $5,400 to $5,600 for a family. Nothing that the county's got to do with it, nothing that ZEPCO's got to do with it, it's all IRS guidelines. There's also going to be a change in the Anthem RX. Lori Huth, when she does the employee meetings, will go over that extensively with the employees and the impact's going to be there. As well as Anthem's also putting in what they call a healthcare guide. And what that does is it's more of a patient advocacy program. They want to be a little bit more friendlier. So when somebody comes in, if I've got to make a call to Anthem and I find somebody that I connect with, then I'm able to get on the phone and call that person directly back. And we develop a relationship. So that's kind of their approach. It's new to them. It'll be new to Zebco. Anthem's got that on their other platforms and they're finding success with it. So, and the consortium actually took the Anthem plan out to market to United Healthcare, some of the other big players that are out there, Cigna, and came back, and Anthem is still that's where they ended up. So, other than that, I think that's it. Oh, the other thing is the voluntary benefits for the employees, the dental and vision they got, there's no change in those. And the life insurance to the county that they pay 100% for, there's no change in that either with Guardian. I'm done.
Yeah.
Was there
Yeah.
a recommendation on a premium holiday?
Yes. The only other thing I want to add to that is he did mention the Anthem RX. The county has been used to Express Scripts for years, so that'll probably be an adjustment. People, that's just what they know. But they assured us down at the meeting that it's supposed to be seamless. They're hoping to transfer all the scripts. They won't be able to transfer. They say they won't be able to transfer, like if you have a credit card saved or something like that. So you will have to engage with them, but that's just something. And I know Tasha and Lori Huth will push that out at our open enrollment meetings, which I think Tasha is up
October 2nd.
October 2nd. And she will get those flyers out to all of the employees, letting them know when that is. I think this week,
Tomorrow.
next week, okay. The recommendations from the Health Insurance Committee, as Ron said, keeping the premiums the same. We had talked about different options. Last year we did the premium holiday. We picked November, which November was a 3-month pay. We had a lot of positive feedback, but the insurance committee was trying to take some of those funds, take our balance down a little bit. And so this year they are recommending the same, doing the premium holiday for November. And this is we have to remember this is a one-time thing. It did happen last year. The health department debated back and forth whether to do potentially a 4 or 5% decrease, but we considered, Julie brought it up, that a hit to somebody's insurance if you get used to a 5% decrease, and then the next year we get hit with a 6% increase, all of a sudden they're at 11% increase. So we had a lot of positive feedback about the premium holiday, and that'll put probably about it's for employee and employer holiday, and it'll put about $100,000 back into the general fund carryover, which will help us instead of transferring it to the health insurance fund. So that was their recommendation.
Just can I jump in here a second?
Sure.
Just so you know, so at the end of the year, our projected balance in our health insurance fund is going to be around $440,000. So we're going to pull out in November, when we do the premium holiday for both the county and the employees, we're going to pull out about $244. Okay. Now that's going to take us down below our projected $250, but I believe by the time we get to the end of 2020, this is projected, I think we're going to be probably close to that 300,000 mark. So again, we want to maintain the integrity of that account with that balance. So I think with what's going on and the reserves that we got built in there, and again, if the commissioners go along and support no increase, there's going to be a few dollars, I think like 14 or maybe 15 grand that's going to go in there, that based upon what we projected and where we're at, I think that'll help again, that fund should be it's not going to be like it is today at 436,000.
Yeah, which is kind of what Stace is saying. So Julie, when we do these, as you shoot this out to all the department heads, we do have 440 30,000 in the account. This
There's
time next
408 right now, there'd be 436 by the end of
with
the year.
3 more months, yeah, but this time next year, we're talking possibly around 300,000.
And that goes back to Stacy's comment.
That's
why-
Stacy's point, I just want to make
Yes,
sure everybody's
we
aware of that.
can't, this last year was a one-time
Yeah.
look, this year's another time look to see what the count is, because as Julie pointed out last year, the integrity was to keep the count 250, but again, there was surplus in there, so the employees in the county put it in,
Great.
we're gonna give it back to them. So,
And this is real money, so when we say premium holiday, if you're a single employee here at the county and there's 3 pays, that's $150 that does not come out of your check in the month of November. So all the, and it goes up for families. So this is a nice, what do we call it, a refund or offset?
holiday.
Holiday. I like that.
Holiday for the holiday.
This is a nice holiday, especially during holiday season. And for the county, for the commissioners, our general budget, roughly, Julie's back there, she likes me to go low on all these things, but it's somewhere 75 to 100,000, right? Of revenue that'll come back, or found revenue for the county, which is also a win-win for the county, and it's a win-win for the county and the employees.
Yeah. For families, it's about $450 for the month. That's a lot.
For a family.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, that's a lot of money, so premium holiday basically means the 3 pays in November. The county doesn't pay and the employees don't pay for the premium. We take it out of this fund that we've accumulated. So, nice job. I sat on
Committee.
My first committee meeting, and I want to commend the committee for their forward thinking and the job you do, and Stacy, it's a
good committee.
I think we have a good plan. We have a great plan in place.
I will say this, that the committee is very knowledgeable and ask a lot of good questions, and
Yeah, it's good.
They do a nice job.
Julie,
Couple-
did you have, okay.
A couple other recommendations. We do have the wellness discount that we've done for the last, quite a few years. Subco and is the Stay Well still interactive? We don't get the $200 per employee back like we used to. The last year, we didn't get it either, but we kept with the incentives. The Health Insurance Committee recommends that for now, that we still offer the first tier discount, keeping them at the same discount rate. It's roughly about 25%, but we've got it listed per, so it's a set amount. The Wellness Committee and the Health Insurance Committee wants to get back together again to look at the other tiers, to reevaluate it, and so the recommendation just right now would be to offer the same discount for that first tier, that the 600 points that you get. So they're recommending that. They also recommend the HSA contributions to stay the same, pending budgets. You know, we talked about general fund. We know there's going to be some struggles for 2020. We're preparing for it. We're looking at it. HSA comes out of purely the departmental funds, so it'd be the general fund, the REA fund, Mark's road maintenance fund. So, and it has to, because that's an employer contribution, so it cannot come out of the health insurance fund. So we did understand that it may not be possible, but obviously the health insurance is recommending it, because this is the first year we're also taking away the PPO, and, you know, so.
Deductible's $100 higher.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, you know, they said if we can find it, that would be the recommendation that
So
we
can
do
you,
this, yeah.
for the record, tell us what those amounts are?
$750 for a single and $1,500 for a family. And that was the same what it was last year.
Good.
Yeah. Julie, did you have anything to add to this conversation?
No, I am a member of the committee as Tony is as well, and Tasha with my office is on that committee, and Stacy. And I just really want others to understand that nothing is taken lightly in that committee. We look at everything. We look at the employer's obligation as well as the employee obligation. And I think we've been successful, haven't we, Ron, in the past couple of years to keep things fairly consistent for the
Yes.
employees.
Yes.
And I think that's my goal for people. I don't think people like an up and down type
Right.
situation, and And I do like the premium holiday for folks.
Yeah. And this is really a reward to the employees, because they're doing their part. They're taking care of their health, and the fact that we can give back to them is really important. So I really appreciate that all the employees are doing their part, participating in the wellness programs, and so we can be in a position to give them back on the health insurance side, even if, on the budget side, things get tight, so.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Kim, the gal, the young lady here that makes me look good,
Yeah.
I just want to make sure she's kind of my back, she is my backup. She's your backup. So she's been with me for,
Almost 13 years.
how many?
13.
It's like my second wife. Anyways,
We have
Tasha, do you want to add anything?
I was gonna ask, yeah.
I believe we've covered everything.
Yeah. Kim, you got anything?
Nope.
I
think
covered
we
all?
covered everything.
Might as well mention the other members on the
Yeah.
Health
Yeah.
and Insurance Board. We have Beth Schweitzer at the Health Department, she's on there. Dana Ebord from Juvenile Probate Court. Ginger from Job and Family Services. Those are the members that
Sharon
were.
Skeel?
Sharon Skeel,
Yeah,
she,
yeah.
yeah, she was actually out this last meeting, but she's very engaged, and she always has very good questions. She gets a lot of the employees going to her to bring it to the meeting, so she always has a lot of good feedback for us, so. If I miss anybody? That's-
Ron, one of the things that I would like to see is the average balance on the HSA accounts individually, if we can get that information, because my thought is that there are some people who are starting to accumulate some balances. And right now, we're at Old Fort Bank, and I'm not sure that they're offering any other investment vehicles. So,
To your question is, first of all, those are, you hit it right on the head, they're individual accounts.
yeah,
So we do not, and probably will not have access to those accounts. The only thing we could probably do, I think, is probably call the bank and say, what's the balance?
the average balance.
No,
or
well, what's the total balance?
Total balance.
They want, and then we'll just have to figure out what's the number of people are in those accounts. So, as a point, to your point, the other thing that we need to do is probably reach out to Old Fort Bank.
Yeah.
Because we've got 25 new employees that are gonna come on the HSA, the high deductible health plan, and at least be able to offer that open enrollment to them. But I will reach out to Mike probably at the bank and ask him if I can get the balance. I won't be able to get individual balances.
Right.
I'll be able to get,
The aggregate balance.
yeah.
So, and they've been great to work with, and they've waived fees for
Yes,
us
they
and
have.
whatnot.
They have.
But as those account balances grow, I know there's going to be people who want other investment alternatives.
You put
So
them
if
in
they
mutual
can-
funds, you wanna
Yeah.
put them in something that's a little bit CDs, even though it's not gonna pay a whole lot.
Yeah.
I would agree, so the question I think then would be for.
And we have to balance the administrative cost of some of those things.
I would
with
say
the
from.
Simplicity.
Probably a call from Julie, hate to give you anything to do, but that would be, in saying, hey, what's those balances? And, by the way, what are some of the funding vehicles that you have for those balances that are over $5,000?
Yeah,
Because obviously you can burn through 2,800 real quick on one claim, so maybe a balance over 500, but yeah, I think that would be a fair question. Say, what's my balance, and then what are those funding vehicles? Good
yeah, I would
point.
just like over the next
No,
12
that's a good
months
point.
for us to come up with some investment options for people. Because the idea is now that you will accrue, and that becomes like an IRA for you.
We went to the bank to come up with those funding options.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Agree.
And I'm not, yeah. They've been great. They've waived the fees
Yes,
for
they
us.
have.
They've been very high touch, so I don't, it's not anything against them. It's just maybe they need to roll out a little bit more optionality.
For the employees.
For the
Without
employees.
question. Okay, well noted.
Okay, so do you want a motion from us, or is it in here?
I've got a couple, I don't have them on the agenda, but I have a couple I can read. I can either read them individually because we have them separated out. I have the resolution accepting the SEPCO renewal and plan design and establishing the rates, the premium contributions and health insurance rate for calendar year 2020, based on the recommendation of the Health Insurance Committee. I have the resolution establishing Seneca County's wellness discount rates for calendar year 2020, and, which they've got the buy-up plan on here that we won't have anymore. So the wellness discounts would be, to get the 600 points, $12 for an employee, $22 discount for an employee child, $26 for an employee spouse, and $35 for a family. I have a resolution establishing Seneca County's contribution in the high deductible health savings account for employees. Then enroll in the health savings account. This is the $750 and $1,500 for a family plan, pending budgets.
Go to Canada.
Allowance.
Yeah, I
If you
guess
wanna,
I would wanna hold out off on that one.
Okay.
If
I think
that's
so.
okay.
I think
with
that's
you.
probably the right way to do it. That's good.
Our intent is to try and find the money, but until we
We
see
bring it
revenue.
up, we'll bring it up.
okay. And I don't, with the open enrollment on the 2nd, I'm sure that we're gonna get a lot of questions. I know we probably won't have our budgets, I won't even have them back yet from departments, but I know at the open enrollments, that is gonna be a big question everybody's gonna ask, so.
So we might.
In the next
What-
few
what-
weeks, let's,
yeah.
we can, we'll get deeper into some of the, try to get into the budgets. I don't have
Give us
them
the
yet, but.
aggregate number also,
Okay.
and
Yep,
the aggregate number of what that costs
Okay.
us.
Yeah, that might be an issue, you know.
That's gonna be key.
Yeah, we might have
To your
to try
employees.
to act before then.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get, yeah, talk to Julie about it.
and the only other, regarding insurance, we do have First Insurance Group's contract renewal for brokerage services for the medical prescription drug flex spending accounts for Seneca County, pending prosecutor's approval, because he's in Dayton, so.
Good.
Those are the 3 I have if we remove the HSA.
Okay, so moved. Second?
Second, I'm turning to the vote, so.
Any further discussion?
No,
Roll call?
Commissioner Paradiso?
yes,
Commissioner Kirschner? Commissioner Thomas?
Yes. All right. Thank you for your hard work on that.
good job.
And this was the second most important thing we did today.
Good man, Shane. Just caught you when you walked through the door. Took a little offense to that.
I know.
No, I'm just kidding. No, the other one's much more.
Did you have a meeting today? Were you supposed to not be here? I thought you-
Yes, this was more important, so I did a
for
conference call
coming.
for the first
Yeah.
half hour and bagged the other half hour, so.
Got it.
All right, thank you.
We leave.
Yep.
Thank you,
Thank you
everybody.
very much.
Nice to see everybody. Nice to meet you.
Nice to.
So, county administrator report.
Can we do, Danny's here with,
Danny.
yes.
Yes,
She is here
absolutely.
with a new employee. I know I have it on the agenda under new business, but in case they want to get back to work.
Yes.
Yes, so thank you. With your guys' approval a couple weeks ago, we had moved one of the full-time, or part-times to a full-time position, leaving a part-time space available. And good old Mary Zimmerman is coming to us in a part-time status, 29 years.
Wow.
Is a paramedic. She worked for the city of Tiffin, retired in 2013. But since then, she's maintained her cards, her credentials. She still works as a paramedic in the Fostoria Emergency Department. She's also had some experience in the cardiac department of Fremont Memorial. And we are excited to have her aboard.
Welcome. Thanks for joining the team. Thank you. Anything you'd like to say? Thank you for being a paramedic. I mean, we really, after coming out of 9/11 yesterday, and we think of all the paramedics that perished in that event, and they're some of our heroes across the county, so thank you very much.
Yes, welcome.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay.
So you can leave if you want.
Yeah. Go save lives.
Thanks.
County Administrator report.
I don't have much. I do want to bring up that Budget Commission met the other day and obviously brought up the discussion, Sheriff asking to reduce his revenue by $350,000. Also, they mentioned, didn't vote on, but they mentioned back in 2018 when we were projecting revenue, the Board of Elections and the county was getting grant money from the state for the voting equipment. And they brought it to our attention that initially we thought we were getting the money, it was going to be processed through the general fund for payment. And it ended up being after we finally got all the paperwork done, they actually paid the vendor directly. So the revenue isn't running through the county. They have to book it on their end.
Got it.
But it's going to appear as a reduction on our revenue
Yeah.
because it was an anticipated revenue. So, so that'll be coming. They're going to talk about that. They did move the Budget Commission meeting from the 26th to the 25th because of conflict. So they will have the meeting the 25th to talk about this. They didn't make any changes. Paul wanted a chance to look at it and Derek wasn't available at the last meeting. So they'll be discussing this at the next meeting. So that'll take a little hit to the revenue, but you know, I just want to make sure you guys knew that it was coming up. There are some increases they're going to make. It's not going to be obviously enough to offset that right now, but there were some you know, unexpected revenues that did come in, so they're going to be making an adjustment up on that. But it'll still, obviously, with the sheriff too being.
Well, his
negative,
health
so.
insurance, holiday helps. The land bank was a good one.
Yeah, that we'll be getting the $300,000 back
$300,000
from the
land bank.
land bank. We do have a couple advances out there. There's, I think, 2 or 3 small ones getting paid back today. Wolf Creek's a big one out there, but since we're allowing it to be paid back over 5 years, so we won't get the full. We'll get a good chunk of it, but we do allow for the citizens if the amount is over the $25 to pay over 5 years. So. So that advance will be sitting out there for a little while.
Are we cleared up on the fiber? Did we advance some funds for that?
We ended up doing the transfer. They're paying us back.
So we transferred it out.
Yes, yep.
How
Because
much are we getting back?
we decided on 60%.
We're getting back, okay.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Is the
Yeah.
fiber put in?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so that's part of that's an IT question.
Yeah.
All the new fibers in,
Yes.
okay.
All the fibers in. The 911 is up and
Just
running.
clarify what you said about paying it, because I'm not.
So there,
I'm kind of on it, but I don't think I.
Yeah, there was we had a contract or agreement with Bascom Communications. Basically, we invested in fiber throughout the county, basically for 911. But the benefit is also to the county, because while the 911 was running the fiber, we added the extra lines so that the county could also benefit. But 911 does have the ability to pay for that. Obviously, the fund wasn't built up enough. They only get very little, 120,000 a year in fees from the cell phone charges that you get. So, but they'll be paying the general fund back. But they advanced us. It was almost $1 million, but the general fund agreed to pay for a portion of that. But the majority of it is going to be paid for.
Got it.
But they have to pay us back over so many years. And,
This is the financial piece. From the IT perspective, as we look at different systems, we have the server issue, we have the upgrade in the fiber. We've talked about this before, all of us, that to make a fair assessment of what's going on in the county, we kind of need all this stuff working.
right. And
So it sounds to me like we're getting pretty close.
We're getting close. Yep, they've got something scheduled for the end of the month with Spectrum, Bascom, the service guys that Buck IT had to hire for the higher level. That's scheduled for the end of this month, beginning of the next month, to hopefully get all of
Yeah.
our techie stuff, the switches, the whatever they need to do, and then all of the county offices will be actually fiber together, because the 911 equipment had to stay separate from the county network, so we had to buy that separately. There had to be two different systems. Fiber's the same, however they run that, they're side by side, but the equipment had to be separate to keep it separate. So 911 was a priority, and so we're a little behind on getting the network in, but hopefully once we get that in, that'll help at least show us the issues with some of the problems we've been having, if it's a network issue, if it's a software issue, if it's so hopefully that'll stay on schedule for the end of this month, beginning of next month.
Cool.
So I think that's all I have.
Good. Commissioner report?
No comment?
Do you want to introduce any special guests that you have here today?
Bill Franker.
I'd like to introduce my good friend Dee.
I'll have you introduce.
I see her back there shaking her head no.
My other half is here, Deanna in the back, so. Thank you.
Okay, old business. New business, we've taken care of the two big items. You want to go through the rest of it?
Sure. Let's see, bring up my sheet here. Workflow. All right, I have some supplemental appropriation. I have one from the sheriff's office. They're asking to put $1,339.27 into their transfers outline. This is for the Impaired Driving Enforcement Program Fund, the 1059. They're also adding $349.12. They're asking for a sub-app. These are to close out both the funds. These are 2018, finally getting them paid out, so they're going to close it out. I have a request from Juvenile Probate Court for their Special Projects Fund. They're going to do a sub-app for $6,512.27. They have another request from their Probate Special Projects Fund, their 1093 account for equipment for $16,512.28. The Board of Elections was in last week talking about their HAVA grant, Help America's Vote Act grant for $50,000 in their equipment line. And I also have Lydia, I think we've got her specs. Hers was on last week, but it had an error. She is asking, Victims Assistance is asking for a $15,000 increase into their transfers outline. They're preparing to switch over from her 2110 to 21. She has a closeout year. It's their fiscal year that ends in September, October. So she's preparing to do that. So she's doing the transfers out, sub-app into the transfers out. I also have a request in the system from Job and Family Services. It's an appropriation adjustment. This is to allow the agency to move remaining IM control funding from the PA to the CSEA to cover child support state match. They're moving it from their contract services, $118,141.94 to their transfers outline. And then I have fiscal resolutions. Some of these goes with these supplementals. I have a resolution authorizing a fund advance repayment from the Impaired Driving Enforcement Program Fund to the general fund. This is an advance they did at the beginning. This might be a late 2017. $10,000 repayment. I have a resolution authorizing a fund advance repayment from the Selective Traffic Enforcement Program Fund. They had an advance out for there for $8,150, so they're paying that back to the general fund. I I have a resolution authorizing a fund advance from the general fund. This is for the National Priority Safety Program Fund. They are asking for $4,423.35. This is another one, this is a new one for the Sheriff's Department. I have a resolution authorizing a fund transfer be made to the general fund. This goes along with their supplemental appropriation, their impaired driving enforcement program fund. What they do is they get reimbursement. They charge a fee, which includes some gasoline from maintenance repair. So they get a check in more than what we had anticipated. So they're closing out the fund for $1,339, transferring that 27 cents, transferring that to the general fund. And same thing with our selective traffic enforcement program fund. They had a remaining of $349.12. By code, they're allowed to transfer that when the fund is done to the general fund. I have a resolution authorizing the contract with Mary C.E. Cost and Susan Wagner on behalf of the Seneca County Museum. This was a contract that was in place with Elva Einzel. We have a list of items that she had donated to the museum, and upon her death, gives the family the opportunity to either take the donated items back. They have decided to keep the items at the museum, so they wanted to have a new agreement with the family and also wanted a better inventory list than what we had had before. So that's what the contract is for. It's just for the donation of the items and what happens upon, you know, if they want them back, they can come and get them back.
Just a comment there, the museum,
Sure.
I think, is doing a remarkable job of trying to inventory everything and be good stewards of what's over there. It's way more complicated than I thought it was. As far as, and you can just imagine over the years, all the items that have come in and whose are they, and so I'm pleased to hear that, you know, there's a procedure and
Yep.
because the donor, we have to be stewards when we receive people's items. I think it's very important that, you know, that's a generous gift from them, that we show them that we, you know what we're doing and we're taking care of things. And I think I see that going forward, but we're also circling back, trying to resurrect all these unanswered questions.
Yep, absolutely.
So it's a monumental task, but I want to compliment the museum for that.
Yep, yep. I have a resolution authorizing Seneca County Job and Family Services to transfer federal Chafee funds to Williams County Job and Family Services, and authorizing Kathy Oliver, Director of Job and Family Services, to sign this and other related documentation. The Chafee funds, Nikki had asked her, is used for independent living services for the older youth in foster care or those who have aged out of foster care. This year, Seneca County, our allotted amount, we did not use, we did not need, and the code allows us, the statute allows us the ability to provide another county with those funds if they're available. So this is what Kathy's doing. We've done it with other counties before. Other counties have done it with us. So they're gonna be transferring the funds to Williams County. And then I have the resolution hiring Mary Jane Zimmerman as the interim paramedic for the Seneca County EMS Paramedic Response Unit effective September 12th, 2019. Shoot. That's all I have.
I'll move we accept the new business.
Second?
Roll call?
Commissioner Paradiso?
Yes.
Commissioner Kirschner? Commissioner Thomas?
Yes. Okay, we do have an executive session. It'll be brief, and we don't expect any action for pending litigation. Before that, any public comments? Dalton, you got a big dance tonight?
I do,
Okay.
yeah. We have a hearing that starts at 3 p.m. today.
Okay.
So it's at the university. Plenty of fun, I think we'll have lots of people there.
Yeah.
Good.
Good. All right, any other comments? We'll be into motion to go into executive session for pending litigation. Second, roll
Second.
call.
Commissioner Paradiso?
Yes.
Commissioner Kirschner? Commissioner Thomas?
Yes.
We need a motion on that.
Yeah.